Hello, everyone. Welcome to the actual first episode of the Disgruntled Geeks podcast. We did kind of have a pilot episode last week, I guess you'd say, wouldn't you say, Ben?
Yeah, that's pretty close enough.
Yeah. So guys, just we want to welcome you. Just welcome you to the most honest, critical, and sometimes cynical podcast that you will ever hear. This week, we do actually have our webcam set up so you can actually see our wonderful faces and Jamie's as well.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it'll get better when.
Yeah, if your computer screen just cracked, we are not responsible. So
Well, this is supposed to make you disgruntled.
Right. Yeah, that's the whole
Yeah,
point of
join
having
us.
Jamie on the podcast. So I'll kind of introduce ourselves since this is kind of turning into the official first episode. My name's Ronnie. You can also call me Hinderless, whatever. That's kind of my online persona, I guess you would say. And I'm going to be your host.
it's the name that wasn't taken.
Yeah, exactly. I think I had another name, Hinder Me Not. Originally, I hate to go
Yeah, I
into story
remember that
time with this, but I had another name on WoW, and I changed a character to a different realm, and Hinder Me Not was taken. So Hinderless it came into being because of that, and
There you go.
bam, here we are. And so the other regular host that I have here is Ben, also known as Tiki Man Bob. You're going to see us on a weekly basis, me and him. And we do have a revolving third guest that we will be bringing on a different person every week. And that week, or this week, is Jamie.
He drew the short straw.
Hello.
Yeah, he drew the short straw by having to be the first to do this. But that's okay because he's used to riding the short bus.
It's only until the end of this episode he'll find out if he won by default or lost by default.
And I guess I'm sorry. It's I've got to go back real quick. I said the short bus thing. I've got to apologize for that because that's actually really offensive to people who rode the short bus. So, but those, in all seriousness, all the SJWs, I'm sorry. I did not mean that offensively.
And that's all you get.
Yeah, exactly. So, but hey, guys, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because it happened to me this week, and it was pretty funny. I had my first big Reddit blow up this week.
Yeah, you pissed him off real good.
Oh yeah, man! It was wonderful. I'm not going to go into what people were mad about because I just don't feel it's appropriate for the podcast. But essentially, I had this big this post. They got a bunch of upvotes. I got so many internet points. It was amazing.
This was a comment. This wasn't a submitted post.
Yeah,
this
yeah, it
was
was-
a comment on a post.
Yeah, it was just a comment on an Ask Reddit post. And I've never had as many people on the internet be mad at me at one
It was a new
time.
feeling.
I started going through my inbox and everything was all this hate, and I'm like,
That can happen. If you say the wrong thing, your inbox will explode. I guess the real question is it still exploding?
It is not. It is over.
Okay.
Basically for about 24 hours, it was just
So they
constant
moved
in
on.
my inbox. Yeah, and I actually eventually, because I got tired of getting all the inbox messages, I just turned off my inbox. So I don't even know. There's a point after it that it's just I don't know what happened.
Oh, man.
But if you've ever seen Reddit go crazy, it is a sight to see.
But yours was a localized crazy storm that
Yeah.
happened on you. It wasn't like you crashed you crashed Reddit because you outraged them so.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
that didn't happen.
This is only the beginning.
right. Well, I just
Yes,
made
this
the
is
magic
this is the
community.
new weekly segment. How did Ronnie piss off Reddit?
Right. I need to try that. I need to try weekly to make a post. Maybe that's my goal is to get banned from Reddit.
Oh, Lord. It doesn't take much.
Yeah, I've
It
already
does
been
not take
banned
much.
once. So they IP banned me that time
Oh man, it must have been serious.
for 2 years, so I couldn't even have a
Got
different
him.
account. So, but no, seriously, it was fun. But I do not recommend making Reddit mad if you like to use your Reddit account because your
Just try
inbox will
not
blow
to.
up.
There may be times where you don't think you're making them mad, but you do, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
Right. Yeah, that
Just
was
do the best you can.
Exactly.
That's the lesson of this show, kids, is do the best you can.
yeah. And do your best you can and make people mad.
That's right.
That's how I get by in life.
Using the public library.
Right. Right. So So, I want to go ahead and get into our topic, kind of our first kind of topic for the week.
Yep.
I do want to make note. I'm going to try to make note of this every week for anybody that knows. We are not scripted. We do not have show notes. We do not come up with an outline before we start. One of the things about us is that we are trying to get people that we just have really good natural conversation with on here. Me and Ben, we have really good natural conversation. So
we like to think so.
And so we just want to make sure that we kind of stick with that instead of trying to hold ourselves into doing a scripted show or an outline show so that you guys can hear just what it's like, in our normal, everyday, our opinion doesn't matter for anything conversations.
This is the perfect show to have if you want to simulate just inviting random people into your house to have a random conversation about anything.
Right.
This is it. This is like we have been invited into your house or living arrangement, and
Hopefully.
we're now just talking to you or at you.
Yeah, for all three people who end up seeing this, we've been invited into your house.
That's right.
So make sure to send us your address, and we'll be there next week. So,
we'll start streaming from a different location each week.
Oh, that's kind of okay. Moving right along. Speaking of addresses, we have an address for the newest Fallout game.
Oh, yeah.
And that is Vault 76.
Sure.
So I just want to kind of start out, Ben.
Yeah.
I know you're a fan of the Fallout series just as much as I am. Especially you more so of 3, me more so of 4.
New Vegas is my favorite.
Well, yeah. I should probably.
Oh, but you mean like the main installments?
Yeah, and I kind of,
yeah.
It's kind of the same engine, so that's kind of why I grouped them together.
Yeah.
But what was your thoughts on it from kind of that perspective, being like a Fallout 3 engine fan?
Well, I wouldn't say. So I like 3 better than 4, only because I don't feel as limited in 4 in terms of how you play a character. Because in 4 you're limited by what they could record for voice acting. The thing I have with this game is I really have no feeling for it because they really haven't told us anything other than it's a thing that's coming. And all we really have to go off of it are just what the internet can speculate or what leakers can leak to the different Chan sites.
Yeah, and I think we can also get some information from Fallout 3 and 4 because
Sure.
Vault 76 was actually mentioned in both of the games.
It was actually, yeah.
Yeah, so it was actually one of the control vaults, and it was supposed to open 20 years after the bombs hit, but it actually opened 25 years after the bomb hit because there was something we'll probably figure out in this game that caused
They'll
it
probably
to.
tell us.
So the game, that's one of the interesting things that I think is like the time setting for the game. We're going to get a game that's about 25 years after the bombs, and it's probably going to be a character who either is first generation removed from people who actually experienced the world before the war, or it's going to be somebody who did experience the world before the war. Which honestly, as much as I love 4, I don't think that really worked out that much for them when with 4 having like it just didn't make sense with the character.
Well, it made sense in theory because it's the fish out of water story. But the problem is that you remove the fish so far from the water that it now started walking on land on its own. Like you go into the stories, and I had this problem with 4, and it's just like I don't really care about your problems,
right?
Because I have no grounding for them.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with 4, okay? That made it a problem for 4, and maybe 76 can avoid this kind of problem. But you have this character whose child just got kidnapped in their eyes.
Yeah, to them.
And then they go out and they start, shooting random raiders and saving settlements and working with the Brotherhood of Steel and not doing anything that actually helps them get their child back.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. No, and on top of that, like, it kind of makes sense with Nathan, the male character, like him being able to survive because he was a soldier. But Nora was a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, what? You're telling me she could come out of the vault after having been froze for 200 years, and all of a sudden, she's like, the baddest woman in the wasteland?
Sure, why not?
Michonne from The Walking Dead.
Well, but she had a sword, and she's fighting zombies.
Hey, you could have a sword with Nora if you tried really hard.
Yeah.
But you got it later, though.
Yeah.
I think you would have had they should have done more, I think, to have a very different game in that sense, where Nathan was like more experienced, but Nora was very much more, oh God, what am I going to do? And try to figure all this stuff out.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't help that their voice lines are exactly the same.
They are exactly.
Yeah.
They say the exact same things.
Right. Now, Jamie, I know you're not. You haven't played a ton of Fallout.
Right.
And you just watched the trailer with me before we started. Like, as somebody, like, does that kind of bring the interest to the series to you, or like, what? How did it make you feel?
Getting started with it, seeing it, I was a little excited. I don't know too much about the series. I know that there were vaults that people went into. They were locked down after the radiation and everything was supposed to go down. Then they would break over and they'd try to re-inhabit the world. I know enough about Fallout to know that there were people that weren't inside the vaults.
Right.
And that they're going out. So from the trailer, we saw a big messy shelter, balloons everywhere, big party. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is, I mean, that's their first opening. They're going out. They've never seen anything. It would make the the extra 5-year gap significant, because you're not going to send a 20-year-old out.
Right.
If they were born and raised in the shelter, never seen anything, the doors open for the first time. A 25-year-old, he can go do stuff. A 20-year-old can't. So we could be looking at...
A 20-year-old thinks they can.
A 20-year-old thinks they can.
Hey, all 20-year-olds out there,
then.
trust me,
do it.
you can't. Well, if it's something that would make you successful, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Get out, make yourself successful. But if you think you could do something that nobody else has ever done right now, like you could probably do some things that nobody else has ever done. But if you think you can do that one thing that seems like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. If
You're not Batman.
You're not Batman. There we go.
Stop trying to be Batman.
Like, I just completely see, that's the thing with whenever you don't have an outline show, is you're going to get Ronnie randomly rambling like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm saying, but I don't know what it is.
But don't be too motivated.
Like, be realistic.
This is ironically,
reach for the
that's
stars.
That's what the first version of the show was just you in front of a mic going nuts.
Right. You can't do it. You can't do it live.
Just
bringing
people down. Bring them down, then you bring them back up again, then bring them down. Man.
Okay, that derailed quickly. So I'll give some more information. And my hair is just killing me. Maybe I don't need to be able to see myself. So for those that aren't with us live, we do this week. We're gonna be doing this weekly on Twitch live. So you may hear references to the audience that might be watching live. So
maybe
the whole thing. Some more information that's come out about it, and I kind of wanted to hold on to this because I wanted to kind of get initial thoughts before I kind of brought this up. But one of the rumors that's really going around right now is that this is going to be an online game.
Yeah.
And I think that is extremely dumb.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've heard both arguments for people who really want it and people who really hate it.
Right. What were the arguments?
So the idea that I heard was, since the speculation was there's been a lot of speculation in terms of what it can be, which is anything from something like Ark or Rust to something like Fortnite, like a battle royale, since that's the new hotness. Yeah. And that was one of those that's like, oh, that's a good way to kill a franchise. But in terms of if it comes out and it's something like Ark or Rust, where you have the base building component of 4, but it's in a world that has other people and you can interact with one another, then you can show off all the cool things you build. That's appealing to some people, but it's hard to really think about, just because, again, they really haven't told us anything except the announcement of Fallout 76.
Right.
They said there's going to be more details when we announce it at our E3 conference. So this was literally just the announcement of the announcement, and it's all it takes to get the internet going crazy.
Right. So kind of give my stance on the online thing.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't. Any way they do it, I don't think that Bethesda has proven themselves that they could make an online game that works for the people who are a fan of the franchise. Look at the Elder Scrolls Online. Generic MMO number 76.
Bethesda is is the game where it's like you think you want this with multiple people, but when in practice it won't work. Like there were so many people who are just like, oh man, if I could play like Skyrim co-op or 4-player multiplayer, whatever, that'd be so great. And then we get ESO, and it's well, they're not the same games. The principle is still there that Elder Scrolls multiplayer is actually not at all what I want, because I don't want people ruining in the ideal world. I would have Morrowind remastered. I don't want multiple people. They're ruining that for me.
Right, and that's one of the things that is absolutely frustrating about an MMO world, and really bugs me about Elder Scrolls is there's so much story that's being told in an MMO, but you really can't represent that story in any way except between different expansions. Which World of Warcraft has got pretty decent about doing that.
But it took them a long time to get decent at it.
Right. But, it's like spoilers for those that haven't played. I actually won't say who it is, but a certain character dies in the Morrowind expansion of Elder Scrolls. And to this day, you can still take quests from that character. And that kind of stuff just bugs me. It's like this character's supposed to be dead in the lore. And they're telling me to go kill random crab people.
No, MMOs are always going to be a mediocre storytelling platform at best, and then, more likely than not, just an outright awful way to tell a story.
Right. Well, you look at WoW still. WoW, you go from Garrosh is the war chief, blah, blah. Then you get to Outland, and it's like, Garrosh is like some random tribes dude that has no power.
Right.
Well, and not only that, he was a coward in the Village of Grand. But even then, as I said before, Blizzard has only just gotten decent at it. And this is for a game that's well over, it's almost 15 years old now.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. One of the big issues with trying to switch it up like that is people don't like big change. I mean, look at people's fandoms. You change the artwork of a particular fandom, and the fans will rage. Doesn't matter how good the story is or anything.
Legend of Zelda, the one that was cel shaded.
Yeah, Teen Titans.
Oh gosh.
I mean,
I'll hit on a good example with ESO, but ESO has a similar problem that we ran into when Old Republic came out, because you had a franchise that everybody loves, and then it goes to MMO, and you have all the people who wanted more of that franchise. I didn't want this.
Exactly.
Right. And see, and that's the thing is where Fallout is right now, it has a wide appeal.
It does.
Because shooting fans like Fallout.
Yeah.
RPG fans like Fallout. Action adventure fans like Fallout. And if you all of a sudden, gut it and make it into a generic MMO, or you make it into a battle royale clone, or any of those, it all of a sudden pigeonholes itself to one community.
Well, it pigeonholes itself further, because we have to remember that Fallout has already gone through that kind of adjustment, because Fallout 1 and 2 were very different from what we know as Fallout now. Because Fallout 1 and 2 were the point-and-click adventures where it was really detailed in how everything worked. Literally, if you set your intelligence too low, you were the village idiot, and you couldn't communicate. And this, really crippled the game. They had that a little bit in 3, but it wasn't nearly as limiting as it was in 1 and 2. Right. So there already has been that sort of change, but it didn't pigeonhole itself so far that lost a good chunk of the audience with it. I mean, there were some purists who were very mad about it, but it was able to regrow that audience when it presented itself as having the better shooting, the more prevalent shooting mechanics other than just point and click at the guy. And also the RPG elements, and you had all that mixed up, and it was pretty good enough that a lot of people would show up. If you only become the one genre, like Battle Royale, you only get Battle Royale fans, and that's it.
Yeah, and I honestly, here's the thing about it, is, I don't think that Fallout can compete against worlds that are built for that genre anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, Player Underground, or Player Unknown, whatever, and Fortnite, they were built specifically for this genre.
Sure.
And especially Fortnite, I don't like Battle Royale. That's just, it's just not my flavor.
Yeah.
But Fortnite is a beautiful game that has a great lore for what's happening with the Battle Royale. But I don't think Fallout really works for that.
No, and if they make it a battle royale, then they may run into PUBG suing them also, because that's like, it's not just a battle royale game; it's a battle royale over legal issues because PUBG doesn't like sharing.
Right. Now, just to kind of flip the script for a second.
Okay.
Now, the one way that I would accept them doing an online version of Fallout is if they take the ideas that Rockstar did with Grand Theft Auto 5 when they made their online. Because one of the things, and they can't necessarily directly translate it, but one of the things that Rockstar did really well with Grand Theft Auto Online is one, it shipped with a full single-player game.
Right.
So there would need to be a full single-player game with it. And two, the game in the online is still Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
It's you're just doing Grand Theft Auto things. You know, you can go into specific modes like team deathmatch, capture the flag, heist, races, stuff like that. But it's you choose which of those activities you want to focus on as being your main. So if you're not like a big shooter team deathmatch fan, you can do the races if that's what you prefer. If you prefer the single player, heist kind of stuff, you can do heists. And so they didn't pigeonhole themselves into one thing. And I think that's what Fallout would have to do. And on top of that, another thing Rockstar did is they limit the amount of people that can be in one instance of the world at a time. Yeah. And they, so if there's so many people, somebody tries to log on, they'll go to another instance. And so I think that's another thing that Fallout would have to do if they were going to do some kind of online, is they would need to make sure that they don't pigeonhole their fans and they limit the amount of people that can actually interact with you if they're going to have direct PvP and everybody's trying to kill everybody.
Yeah, I think that'd be successful. I think that would be a way that they could do the online thing and the game potentially be more successful, and not get all the backlash. Because if you're a Fallout fan and you buy a Fallout online game, you're expecting it to be the same thing you're already a fan of.
Right.
And when it turns out to be something completely different, then you're going to be upset. Like you said, if it's attached to another game where you can play it like all the other Fallout games, then you can be happy. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I've played this. Let me try this thing out.
Right.
So,
I think that's part of what drives Grand Theft Auto Online's community. Is it's just not, there's so much that you can do on top of the fact that you got this amazing 30-hour game with it that was, just typical Grand Theft Auto over-the-top crazy story.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that, Ben?
I think that's a pretty good way to go about it for the most part. I'm just worried about a direct copy of the Grand Theft Auto mode, just because the Grand Theft Auto mode relies on all the different things you can do in Grand Theft Auto. And a lot of that stuff either you can't or just hasn't really been thought of in the Fallout universe. Like, I don't know about races in Fallout. Now, I'm not saying that's... No. Since all the cars either blow up or just are set pieces. I think the limited lobby is probably the best way to do it in terms of only having a couple people on. And I think one of the things they may focus on, because it's still in the Fallout 4 engine. This isn't a new engine developed for this game. So I do think what they'll probably do is, I think the closest rumor I've heard is probably the Ark Rust game that has the base building in it, because that was really the big success of 4. Right. Was nearly everybody loved the base building. Right. So I could see that being brought in.
Yeah, and honestly, though, I think that still kind of falls into it pigeonholes people, because, like, I tried Rust.
It does.
And, like, I mean, I just here's the thing. I don't like working to build a base for like a group of other players who've been playing the game much longer than me to come in and just take all my stuff and kill me.
Well, and I think if they have that, though, with the Grand Theft Auto, like, careful lobby management, then that may not be that much of an issue.
Right.
The important thing also, though, is that are they considering this game to be part of, for lack of a better term, the main Fallout series?
Right.
Because if they're not, then I don't feel so bad about them going more niche. But I don't also want them to go more niche at the expense of getting another main series Fallout game.
Right.
Like, what if, because I don't want to live in a world where we got this instead of Fallout 4's equivalent of New Vegas.
Right. And I think in a perfect world, this is Fallout 4's equivalent to New Vegas. And that's what I'm really hoping. But here's the thing with, if this does end up being like a standalone online game, is we do have to realize that Bethesda is not BioWare. BioWare came in, made the Old Republic, and we never got Knights of the Old Republic. There we go.
Yeah.
We never got KOTOR 3.
Yeah, we never got KOTOR 3. But Bethesda is working on a new Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be single player. So I think Bethesda has shown themselves that, even though they make an online game of a franchise, that they're not afraid to go back to it in single player.
Yeah.
Which is good.
And that is a good fear to have, though, Ben, because of the fact that we have been taught by the video game developers that once they put their franchise in the online world, that we never go back to a single player game. You've got the Old Republic, you've got Warcraft, I would give my left leg for Warcraft 4. I would straight up have a process.
I've said this plenty of times. They're now at End of Wrath Cataclysm used to be the perfect time to go to Warcraft 4. Literally right now in WoW's story is the perfect time to put in Warcraft 4 instead of Battle for Azeroth. And we're still not getting it.
Yeah. But Battle for Azeroth would make a fantastic RTS.
It would. It is literally Warcraft 4.
And aren't they doing RTS elements in...
Yes, there is literal RTS sections in Battle for Azeroth. It's like they are taunting us at this point.
Yeah, and that just upsets me because, I would want a full-fledged RTS game. How hard is it? Even if they wanted to use WoW's engine, since they're putting RTS elements in the engine already, just give me the game. Well,
they don't even need to do that because you already have people that are effectively remaking Warcraft 3 and the StarCraft 2 engine.
That sounds amazing.
That's the last... I remember reading that somewhere, I think. But the point stands is that they already have a competent RTS engine with what they made with StarCraft.
Right.
So just do this. Because, WoW is still chugging along, but it's certainly not going to grow anymore. Or at least not significantly.
Yeah, I think people coming back for Warlords of Draenor, that was their last big push. They're still going to, when a new expansion comes out, their numbers are going to increase. But I don't think it's ever going to hit, what was it, 9 to 10 million like it was right after Warlords came out.
No, and really, the obligatory increase in expansions isn't so much new players, but it's players who played before coming back to check it out and then just leave again.
Exactly.
Right.
But to kind of bring that back to Fallout, I do think that this is an online game.
Likely.
I don't think that Bethesda is going to be afraid to make Fallout 5 and be single player, especially since they've already announced a new Elder Scrolls game after making an online game for Elder Scrolls.
Right.
But it's my biggest...
Watch Bethesda have their new Elder Scrolls game at E3, and turns out it's like their Hearthstone.
Oh,
they just put it out again.
That would be terrible. You talk about Elder Scrolls Legends?
Yeah. They just fully release it. Give it one last good push because they want to cash in on that collectible card game market.
The sad thing...
I think that's what Blizzard did, wasn't it? They had a new Warcraft property because Hearthstone used to be Heroes of Warcraft.
Right. No, the sad thing about Elder Scrolls Legends is that is phenomenal CCG if they would just push it. Bethesda doesn't support it.
Yeah.
But it's I would hate. Wouldn't that be crazy? What if Fallout 76 is a CCG?
Then it shows that nobody has learned anything from that BlizzCon where everybody hated the Hearthstone announcement.
Don't do it!
You can't do it!
Don't let your dreams be dreams!
I can just imagine it now. They're going to give us the full trailer at BlizzCon, or not BlizzCon, that's Blizzard, at E3.
E3.
And then what it is as he's zipping up his jumpsuit and everything at the end of it, and it's all celebratory and everything, and it's he goes into this room and it's his birthday party and everybody's sitting around with Fallout CCG decks.
They pull up their Pip-Boy and it turns into a
no, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! No.
Oh God! Yeah,
I have the 5 atomic bombs.
You activated my trap card.
You have
exposure.
Well, it's Fallout, so the Yu-Gi-Oh game board will just have to give you cancer every 2 minutes if you're playing. So there's a hard counter to okay, you've got so long to play before you die of radiation exposure.
Okay, hey, go. Bethesda, I take it back. Do it. Do it.
Oh God.
This game needs to happen now.
It needs to be fan made though. Bethesda does it, it's ruined.
Oh yeah. Although I guess, well, no, wait. Bethesda, I don't think can do a CCG because they're still letting people mod. So can you imagine like the Nexus mods for Bethesda CCG? Here's the iWin card. It has the most downloads. The meta really stagnated after the iWin card was introduced.
Why does Blue Eyes White Dragon have cancer?
It's a ghoul dragon.
It's a ghoul dragon.
Oh no!
Red
Do
Eyes
those
Ghoul
exist
Dragon.
yet in Yu-Gi-Oh? Like, I feel like they probably do.
It's an undead dragon. They have
They
to.
will. There's zombie dragons everywhere.
I was about to say. I thought they had the whole zombie shtick.
I think I saw one.
You know, it's
know.
funny. A funny story. I saw a guy come in. Of course, for all of our viewers that don't know me very well, I play Magic.
Yeah, you came back to it.
Yeah, just started back from a really long break. But I saw a guy in the store the other day, and if random guys listening, I'm not insulting you, but he was selling all of his Magic cards so that he could buy into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was just like, cue it, Jamie. Don't do it! It was like, I'm like, oh!
That seems bizarre.
It's a trap. It's a trap card.
Like, does the store you play at, does it even have a big Yu-Gi-Oh scene?
Not really. I mean, they've got a Yu-Gi-Oh scene, but it's about the same size as their Magic scene.
Oh, well, like, because if he did this, where I'm at, I mean, that would kind of make sense, because we have, like, a big Yu-Gi-Oh crowd today, on Saturdays, but that's so, I mean, even then, that's still weird.
Right. It just hurt my feelings. I'm like, you're leaving Magic for Yu-Gi-Oh? Like, if you're leaving Magic for, like, the Dragon Ball Super card game.
Right, something
That's
new.
like if a guy is, like, walking out of rehab and he's like, that's it. I am done with alcohol. I am buying out of it. I'm going to try this crack instead. It's like, you don't solve the problem. You just move from one to the other.
And it's a downgrade.
We're not talking about my sister on the podcast.
All right.
Wait, we're not?
Shouldn't have gone there. So Fallout. One of the things that I really hope if Fallout 76 ends up being a single player game, one of the things I really hope they fix from Fallout 4, and it's one of the biggest problems that I think Fallout 4 had, don't do voice acting for your main character, please.
No, please no.
Like, let us role play the character.
I mean, I have never been bothered. Granted, 3 in New Vegas were kind of like the main Fallout games I've played, but I know a little bit about 1 and 2, but I have never, ever, 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 ever been bothered by just looking at a menu, picking the line, and then just the NPC continues talking to me.
Right. I mean,
That has never bothered me. I have never been like, I would give this game a 10 out of 10, but my immersion takes a hit.
right.
No, it doesn't.
And that's the thing. It's like, one of the things I want to say is, like, I'm a fan of the Fallout series, and I'm a fan of Fallout 4, but I am not a fanboy of Fallout 4.
You're right.
It is, at the end of the day, like, there were some major issues with that game that I feel like they really need to fix going into the next game. We don't do the dialogue.
Ironically, I was less immersed with the voice acting than I was with just picking a line.
Exactly, because you always feel like Bethesda games are really good about making you feel like you are the character you're playing. And at the end of the day, like, when I play Fallout 4 now, like, I feel like Nate and Nora. I don't feel like this is my own character.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a character that they introduced to me and that they have a specific personality. Even the dialogue options, like, they're always decent people. And I'm sorry, like, I like the idea of being able to play Fallout or Skyrim and just being a bad guy.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, in real life, you can be more, you have to be more like Sansa because that's how the real life works. But in video games, you're Joffrey.
Right.
Right.
I don't know about Joffrey level. I mean, like,
Well,
let's
you aren't experiencing life yet. But, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
Oh, you're all good. But yeah, it just, they need to fix those. Another thing that Fallout 4 really suffered for, and man, I am going to make some Fallout fanboys that listen to this mad when I say this. That game had no replayability. Like, none at all.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you want to get all the endings, and that's, okay, that provides some replayability. But at the end of the day, like, every other mission, it just turns out the same. There's no like options to change things
Oh.
at the end of missions.
Right.
My train of thought came back to me.
Okay.
What I was gonna say is like when you were saying that you're playing as Nathan or Nate, is that his name?
Yeah, Nate.
Okay, you're playing as Nate, not as your character. When we say that, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's perfectly fine to play as a character if that's already set and predetermined, like Lara Croft, Corvo, Tano,
Right.
a bunch of other
Right.
characters. That's fine. But in the Fallout series is established on playing people that you play as yourself or who you want to play it as. So you can't load up 4 and not want to be Nate.
Right.
And that's really kind of where the problem is with it, as well as the limitations in voice acting recording really limits how your character responds to certain situations.
Right. And I think that could end up, if they keep on doing that could end up making Fallout not as successful as it was with 3 and New Vegas. And 4 was really successful, and I think, if they keep doing it, it won't be as successful as what 4 was. So if it's a single-player game, it's like, Bethesda, let somebody else develop it, because look what happened when you did that with New Vegas. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, I may enjoy Fallout 4 more than I do New Vegas, but New Vegas was the best Fallout game so far in the series.
Yeah.
Easily. I have put so many hours into New
don't want to
Vegas.
hear your numbers.
I enjoy New Vegas's main game the most, but as far as the expansions that they're released for it, I enjoy 3's expansions more.
Oh, 3 did have some, and that was. I'm glad you brought that up with 3, because 4 had amazing expansions.
Sure.
The Nuka-Cola world was right on it, and then don't get me started on Far Harbor. Like, that expansion was phenomenal, because you want me talking about, it doesn't feel like you have choices. Like, Far Harbor, you had choices. And
So they learned eventually.
yeah, like your choices meant stuff, and I think they kind of went back to what made Fallout 3 so successful with that. But you can't really depend on DLC to sell your game.
Right.
Not really.
Because you had a ton of people who will probably not buy Fallout 76 because of the fact that they were completely bored after 20 hours of Fallout 4. And I know that sounds like, if you're a shooting fan and you play like Call of Duty or single player, whatever, you're thinking 20 hours of a single player game, whoo, you got a lot out of it. But in a Bethesda game, 20 hours is nothing.
Right.
So.
Yeah, let's not talk about how much I have in Skyrim right now.
Oh yeah, it's like how I own New Vegas. I got you. I understand.
Well, I will also add too. One of the main reasons that we enjoy Bethesda games so much is because the mod scene.
Right.
Is literally half of it. Is because you basically have endless content for each of them. Although I did discover that Oblivion's mod scene's kind of disappointing. At least the Nexus mod site is.
Yeah, which
Right.
it's an older game. That's to be kind of expected.
Morrowind's still being modded to this day, but nobody really does anything with Oblivion.
It's because Morrowind is legendary.
That's true.
Let's be honest.
Morrowind was the much better game.
Like, it may not have aged well, but Morrowind for its time was mind-blowing.
Right.
Like, I could remember, I was like 12, 13 years old, first picking up that game, and just sitting here just like, what?
Speaking of
This
Morrowind, I have a little side story that just came up today.
Okay.
So I was on PlayStation Network. I was with a couple of my friends. One of them's coming up tomorrow. And he was saying that his parents are moving house, so he's helping them. He found today, unpacking boxes, the map that comes with, like, the Xbox edition. Like, I don't know if it was the special edition or not, but the games used to come with the map along with the booklet.
Yeah.
And that was the map that had his notes, my notes, and another friend's notes of all of our adventures, and like where we'd mark like where landmarks are and stuff.
Wow. And you can't get that nowadays. And that I'm gonna be this is one of my soapbox with these adventure games, like the open world adventure games like that. Is like Morrowind, you had to turn over every leaf, look around every corner, because they didn't just point you to where you're supposed to go, and they didn't let you fast travel. You had to actually explore the world, and that was so much fun. And I get this whole idea of like making things easier for the player. I understand, because you don't want, it can be annoying sometimes having to run from city to city. But Morrowind, you learn shortcuts, you learned how to, there were certain fast travel systems with, like the cart in Skyrim that you could take to the different capital cities before you unlock them.
Yeah.
There were they're called stilt striders. You had different things like that, but you still you had to experience that world.
And the main reason it works in Morrowind is because the world itself is engaging enough that you want to get in these things. Like, I get the idea of these things not being in there because they're a chore, and they can be when the world itself is not really that interesting. It's like, I'm not invested enough of this to learn an entire transportation system in this world that I spent money on that I'm trying to use to decompress. So it's like, if it was more accustomed to like Skyrim's where it's like, get on a cart and go here, it's like, okay. Or I could go into Morrowind where it's like, hey, you, get in this giant bug thing that I control its brain with joysticks. We're going to go for a ride. Like, okay, I'm going to do that.
Did you just call it a giant brain thing?
It's a giant bug, and you control. They control its brain with joysticks.
Okay, I my mind comprehended that as giant brain thing. So now, I'm just imagining the stilt striders with a brain, just
they do
hold legs.
It's not far off. I mean, the only thing that's not there is like the chassis and whatever else. But yeah, just giant bugs that we control.
Right. I mean, but Morrowind was super engaging because of that. Now, I will say that,
an alien world.
I think Skyrim did hit a good medium on that.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that you couldn't just fast travel to all the cities to begin with, like you could in Oblivion. But at the same time, it's like you get late game, and it's like you just disconnect from the world because you're basically a god that can teleport anywhere in the world.
Well, they also reached the medium of having things look different wherever you went.
Right.
So, there's very clear, this is the hot springs area, this is the grassy fields area, there's forest here, here's, the more Alaska bit here. So, there's enough changes in scenery that it makes the world engaging, whereas Oblivion, everything is the same Tolkien forest.
Yeah. Oh, the Oblivion just, I'm glad they have fast travel in Oblivion because I didn't want to see that world anymore.
Well, it's even more bizarre because in the lore, Cyrodiil is a tropical rainforest.
Yeah, that is pretty jarring whenever you first discover that. I didn't know it was a rainforest till later, and it was like, what?
If anybody wants a trip, if they have no idea, start reading Elder Scrolls lore. It's just going to mess you up.
Right. But yeah, so as far as Fallout goes, I think Fallout's always the fast travel system's always worked with Fallout. Just because, I mean, it kind of does suffer. They do a good job in 4 of giving you different things. I think they've done a good job in all of them except for New Vegas for everything looking different. New Vegas, that's one of its faults, is it looks the same everywhere you go.
You can't really do much when you're in a big desert.
Right. But one of the things is I think Fallout 4, it makes a little more sense to have the fast travel. Because it is a quicker pace than Skyrim, Oblivion.
And 3 and 4 have the similar issue of you have areas that are big urban areas, and those can be really hard to navigate, just in the main ways, because you can just get lost among the rubble piles and where else. Because your brain is still navigating. It's okay, this is the street. If I take this street and go here, I'm going to go here. You're still navigating by streets, but your brain doesn't account for the fact that sometimes you have streets with giant piles of rubble that are on fire.
Right. Or there are super mutants there.
Yeah.
Trust me, that happened plenty of times trying to go from Diamond City to somewhere. I'm just walking down the street, and all of a sudden, from this building to my right, there's super mutant shooting at me.
They're very angry with you.
Where did you come from? I didn't even, I'm not trying to steal your stuff.
Well, you are now.
Yeah, I was I'm going to steal your stuff now, but, you know.
Matter of principle. You shot at me, so I guess I have to take your stuff now.
I didn't even know your stuff was there. You would have still had your stuff and your life, but more importantly, your stuff. You know?
And they say, alas, but we are but super mutants. It is our nature to shoot at you.
Right. My favorite character in Fallout, and I want to ask Ben you that. I know, Jamie, you haven't really played Fallout, so I know what your favorite character is because it's going to be mine too. But I don't normally like the big goofy characters, but I have to say, in Fallout 4, Strong...
Yeah,
he is phenomenal. A super mutant that knows Shakespeare and just completely misinterprets it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole like quoting Shakespeare. What is it, like the honey of human strength or something like that?
Milk of human kindness.
Milk of
Milk of
human
human
kindness.
kindness.
Vegan streak. There we go. Like he wants to find the milk of human kindness because it's going to make him stronger because Shakespeare said so. Like
That's right.
that's phenomenal.
It really is. That is a great character.
It's great character development.
Yeah, and he's just so fun to have because like it's just some of the stuff he says is like, you're a super mutant. You shouldn't say that. You know? But who's your favorite character?
In all of Fallout or in 4?
All of Fallout.
All of Fallout. Oh, jeez. Well, obviously I have to only consider the ones I've played. So I'm sorry for the maybe one Fallout 1 and 2 purist who listens to this, who says, "Why didn't you mention this character?" Well, I never played it. I'm sorry.
Because that character's dumb.
I'm not going to say that. We need audience.
I will.
That's offensive.
You can
to
say
some
that all you
people.
want. It's actually kind of a tie. It's between the well, they weren't super mutants. What were the other people? The Nightkin.
Yeah,
There was the Nightkin that was like somebody's grandmother that went with you, and like that was your companion. I can't remember her name, but you picked her up at the ski resort, and like she had a quest, and she's like, "Okay, dearie," and she like tears a guy's arms off.
great.
Just like the Incredible Hulk is your grandmother, and it's just the most endearing thing ever. And then of course the other favorite character has to be House.
Oh, House. House is an amazing character.
I am always House's Darth Vader.
So
'Cause-
here's a question for you on House, okay?
okay.
And not necessarily House specifically. Why is it in pop culture if you name a character House, they're gonna automatically be amazing?
Because you can do so many things with that name. Like in New Vegas, it's perfect because the house always wins.
Right. And you look at like the show House. Like Dr. House is pretty
I
awesome.
wouldn't say that was named because you could like because it. I mean, not only is it a good name, but it's the fact that it's a play off of Holmes. So Sherlock Holmes' House, because that's literally what House is.
You just blew my mind, dude.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I did not know. Wow.
Yeah. So like
Okay,
House is
I'm done.
Sherlock Holmes.
Podcast
and then,
over.
I'm
I'm out.
the oncologist guy.
GG.
That's his Watson. Wilson Watson.
What? It's
I can't believe you didn't know this. I would have told you ages ago.
okay. So for those that that are listening to the podcast, not viewing online, this is what you have to view online because like literally right now, like my face is red. I've just been like grabbing my head, like it's wow. Ben, thank you for that knowledge. Like
Yeah, you're welcome.
that just made my life. Like
My only regret is that I didn't share it sooner.
right. How did I not know? Oh my gosh.
I got some stories to tell the people at the EMT. So over at the barracks.
But that, okay, so but yeah, characters they
I
have.
mean, I got more if you want like more comparisons, but I don't know if your mind can handle it, so I'll hold off.
Yeah, we may do that later. Like, give me
Okay.
time to recover, get my bearings, all that fun
makes
stuff.
sense, yeah.
I think
I
my
got
heart
you.
rate's like 160 right now.
Easy.
But no, House. For those that haven't played Fallout, if you're still listening to this, because we've talked a lot about Fallout, so you probably turn it off if you don't care about Fallout. But House is like, and for those that have played Fallout 3 or New Vegas rather, House just like he is literally somebody who survived the bombings. Who actually kept the bombs from hitting New Vegas as hard. What was it? One bomb got through?
Yeah, one, I think.
One, and there were several that were sent to Las Vegas. And it doesn't hit the city directly. But he, he's like, spoilers, if you want to play New Vegas and you haven't, shut it off now. But he literally like survives and he's like 200 years old and he's living like in this stasis thing and has his brain hooked up to a computer so he can still communicate and everything. And when you like, if you ever go in and find him, he's literally like a corpse.
Yeah, he's rather pitiful looking. I will say too, the main thing that makes House so appealing is that he because he said don't be Batman, is like he basically is Batman. He had a plan for everything. And he still has a plan for everything, because if you talk with him in New Vegas, he literally has a plan. It's like, okay, so we're in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. No big deal. Let's get us back on our feet.
Right. And one of the things I really like about the character of House is it's kind of like the first discovery in the series that there is a network of people that kind of exist above the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Because like he does reveal that he's not the only one, and that they're working on getting the world rebuilt. They're just kind of doing it in their own image.
Which seems to be where I think this series more should go, because they're really starting to run out of time frames to place games.
Right.
So, like, we've had the first 3, I would say, kind of like in the times of the bombs falling.
Right.
Or, like, in, like, the prime wasteland time. And then you had 4, of course, which started, before the war. Now you're going to have 76, which is 25 years after the bombs fell. Not going to say it's starting to get a little redundant, but...
It's starting to get a little redundant.
It's starting to get a little, just a little bit.
And that's one of the things that I think 4 did well, because I think that's what the Institute was. Like, it was another example of a group of people who exist above the apocalypse. Like,
sure.
That it does not affect these people. Yeah. And, I wouldn't be surprised if in the long run we figure out that the Institute was, started by somebody who was like House.
It's part of that network.
And so at least I'm hoping, and maybe that's in the long run where they are going, is just slowly peeling back on that.
Oh yeah. Also, like, as far as favorite characters, I think honorable mention will probably go to Kaisar or Caesar.
Yeah. Oh,
I think he's very interesting. Well, no, not Kaisar. He gets honorable mention. The one before him is Graham, his first legate.
Yeah.
The Burn Man that you meet in the expansion. Like, he's very interesting.
Right. The Caesar's Legion is just really awesome in that game in general. Like,
yeah, they're very off-putting, but I mean, I definitely did not hate my conversations with Kaisar when you go see him.
Right. They're definitely better than the cons.
That they are.
Like, I hated the cons. Like, everything about them. I hated fighting them. I hated their stories. It was just like, it's like, I get you got Caesar's Legion, but do we really have to have another ancient force?
Also, like, I felt very bland toward the NCR.
Yeah, which, I mean, I feel like that's just kind of a standard with Fallout at this point, because, like, let's be honest, the Brotherhood of Steel was kind of bland in 3.
They were especially bland. Well, they were not bland in 4 solely because they made the power armor Iron Man armor.
Well, and I think Maxon added a lot of personality in 4.
He did.
But then, in New Vegas, you had the NCR.
And Maxim, and then was that the guy that followed you in, like, the beginning quests?
No, Maxon was the leader.
Yeah, but who is that guy that I'm talking about?
Dance.
Dance.
Yeah, Dance was phenomenal.
Yeah, those two kind of revitalized the Brotherhood in 4 a little bit.
Right. And then, like, I really feel like the Minutemen were really bland in 4.
They were especially bland.
Yeah.
Because we ran into that problem we talked about earlier of, I'm looking for my son. Can you help? No, we know nothing. Would you like to grow us potatoes?
Would you be our general?
No, I won't.
There's a settlement that needs your help.
Survival of the fittest, circle of life.
But there's a settlement that needs your help.
I know, I sent Deathclaws to kill them myself.
But there's a settlement that needs your help.
Are they? I thought they died by now.
How are they still living?
If they did die, Preston would still be telling you to go help them. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
unless it's a settlement where it's all essential characters and they're doing, like, the survival struggle on the floor, like the Skyrim characters did, when you knew it's like, oh, I can't kill this guy.
Right.
That must be what Purgatory's like.
So to kind of close this out, I'm gonna ask for an excitement level. We're gonna do 1 to 10. Jamie, we'll start with you. Like, the trailer, what excitement level did that get you for a new Fallout game?
I haven't spent more than an hour in the Fallout game series, so like a 3.5.
Okay, so for non-Fallout fans, it's probably going to be somewhere in there.
Yeah,
I mean, small sample size, just one person, but
accurate.
I question the legitimacy of this.
Believe it.
Right. Hey, it's better research than some scientific research has been. So
that is so sadly true.
Right.
Coming from you live, new players like it 10 out of 10.
Ben, what excitement level does it have you?
I am at a comfortable 5.
5. All right, so that's not bad. That's pretty average.
No, because that's about I consider 5 to be the same as tap water. So, like, I'm at that,
so
and I've been at that.
A second 3.5.
Well, it's more like it's just that exciting.
Right.
Like, because I don't get excited for announcements of announcements anymore. Just I'll wait for the actual announcement. And I mean, you get 1 extra point because it's a series I care about, but otherwise, I'll wait for the real announcement.
Which let me tell you, I will say that it's I will say that is a trend that needs to stop in the video gaming world, is doing announcements of announcements. Like, if you're going to announce, just announce. I don't want to know when. Don't do something like teaser to announce that you're going to be announcing something. Like,
don't do this crap, because I just don't buy into the wild speculation of anything, because I mean, it's either getting me really excited or really pissed off for reasons I don't need to be, and then all my hopes and dreams will be dashed when we get to the actual announcement. So I'm cutting out the middleman. I just don't care about this announcement of an announcement.
Right.
I mean, I slightly care because it's Fallout, but it's like that much.
So my excitement level is a solid 1.
Wow.
I really just...
I did not think going into this I would have the highest.
Right. Like, here's the thing. I really just don't care. Like, the video didn't do anything to make me care. And that's what they expected, was like, you know, for us to watch it and be like, oh, it's Fallout, I'm excited. But you have to actually give me substance to excite me. And there was no substance. It's the same reason why I hate, like, teaser trailers for movies that, like, don't show anything but a logo and the title.
Yeah.
Because there's no substance. And that's become a bad trend within movies lately. Or even showing something that doesn't have anything to do with the movie.
But Rye, how else are they gonna make the React videos and get millions of YouTube dollars?
Right. You gotta get all those YouTube monies.
I mean, while they still can.
Right. But it just, I want that substance out of something that out of a reveal. Like, even if it wasn't anything major, just, you know, because I'm sure they don't have, like, good solid gameplay footage yet. Because all the footage they showed was all, like, test footage, like AMVs. But at the same time, is like, give me a little bit more. Now, I would say that I may revise it to a 2 after having talked myself through it a little bit, because of the fact that they did choose well in making it about Vault 76, considering it's something we already have a little information on the Vault.
Yeah, fair point.
So they didn't give us any information, but we already had some.
Right.
We just didn't know that we would ever go there.
Right.
So I'd upgrade it to a 2 now. Yeah. You know, knowing that, like,
just enough for people to speculate.
You only did that just so you can say that your score and Jamie's score equals my score.
There we go. Yes, exactly. Exactly. We will make sure that everything is equal here, because we're SJWs.
Well, then I'm out. Goodbye.
I quit.
We are going to be back next week anyway.
So, I mean it.
You're not going to be on the rotation. I got you. So, I'm sorry, everybody, that we introduced you to Jamie just to have him walk out.
I'll see you next week. I'm crashing.
Like, you can see my door in the background there. Like,
if you have any complaints about Jamie being on the show, you can email these complaints to Disgruntled Geeks completion dump at deletethisimmediately.com.
I need to make that an actual email address. Like, okay, so
send it. I want fans.
So, guys, we definitely appreciate you being here. We definitely appreciate you listening. I do want to make sure that give you guys a couple of ways that you can hook up with us. You can hook up with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Disgruntled Geeks. You can also we're on Facebook at Disgruntled Geeks on Facebook. You can link up with us there. We want to eventually start a segment at the end of the show called Shut the Geeks Up, where you would use your comments to tell us how wrong we are on our opinions, and then we'll tell you how wrong you are. So we definitely want you. If you've got any of that, feel free to email us. You can find our email address. I just don't feel like saying it on the podcast. Maybe I will next week. But you can find that on our Facebook page. You can also comment on the Facebook page. Send us a message on Twitch. Whichever way you feel comfortable getting that to us. We would love to have your comments, and that way you can try to tear us apart, and we can try to tear you apart back.
It's also free content for us, so we don't have to do anything.
There you go. See? But guys, we definitely look forward to seeing you next week, and everybody have a good week. Make sure next week you tune in to the most honest, critical, and sometimes cynical podcast you will ever hear.
Bye bye.